This time I muted my computer.
Well, apparently I'm live. Welcome to Collage Jam for Monday, June
7th.
That's right. I have no idea what day it is these days.
It's Monday. We're doing Virtual Collage Jam.
I do know the day of the week, and my name is Kal. Anything more than that is going to have to might trying to set myself a little lower. That was a little lower than a little lower. Anyway, welcome aboard, everyone, and welcome back. I know it's been a little while. I think because we had Kim's virtual studio party last week, and so we're back ready to collage jam
with Kal, honey, and his
trusty
assistant, Kim Lee Co.
So as you can tell, we have the lovely Kim to handle chat and chat with me and chat with you, relay your chat, type in anything, links to anything we discuss, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, I'm not quite up to speed yet, as you can tell, but I will get there, I'm sure. How is everyone doing? I'm really glad to be back. We have, as most of you know, we've been doing a lot of hard on the heels of Kim's father's passing. We have also been dealing with her godmother in Peterborough, who has a chock-a-block apartment. Yeah,
she's moved into long-term
care. So we've been helping her settle in with that and making multiple trips, and still several to go, I'm sure, to sort out her apartment, et cetera, et cetera. And yeah, so we're a little cross-eyed. I slept 11 hours on Saturday night and still woke up feeling like I could sleep several more hours. So cheers.
Yeah,
more
cheers.
Coffee. Yeah. Hey, actually, cheers with cheers.
Cheers.
And I am delighted to have Kim back with me, because things are always better with excellent company like she provides.
Well, thank you, my dear. It's good to be back.
Yeah.
Hi, Jane. Jane's just said hello.
Yes,
Shall I tell you who?
Please
else
do. I
said
see
hello?
My middle-aged eyes can see that there are quite a few comments there, but I can't read them unless I get closer to that screen. So yeah. Please do.
So yeah. Val was the first one to say hi.
Hey, Val. Welcome back.
And then Françoise.
Yay. Good to have you along, Françoise. It's nice to have you here.
And she was very nice and said she was glad I was back.
Yeah, me too.
Kay is here saying, so happy to see you and be back.
Yay, Kay. Glad to have you back, Kay.
And Françoise added, hope you are both okay in spite of it all.
We are a little wanner than our usual self. We're noticing that we're a little run down, but
we're taking it an hour at a time, basically.
Yeah, I mean, when we were younger, we were both talking about doing something like this when in our 50s versus when we were younger, because when your grandmother died, we had to clear out her apartment and so on. And, we were in our 20s then, weren't we?
Yeah.
And it was just, we could work 12 hours, 14 hours, and then go home and sleep a little bit and then come back and do a whole bunch more.
I guess we were in our 30s.
Early 30s, maybe. Yeah. But we're just, we don't have those. We don't have any of those upper gears. We just kind of like, work. So we just, we go and do what we can do, and we take more breaks, and but it's
getting done.
It is getting done.
We're getting
exactly.
help.
And
so.
I think we don't, many years we worked as graphic designers and had a very highly taxed but also well-worn adrenaline system, right? To jump to things, and we don't have that
overused.
Abused, right? Abused, because we did so many deadlines. I was just saying to Kim that Mondays used to be the day when I would not drink coffee because I'd be coming back from a weekend and I'd be, oh, right, there's all this stuff to do. And like
fear and panic took
all
the
these
place of
deadlines.
coffee.
Yeah, exactly. So I daren't drink any caffeine because I had to put myself over the edge.
That's right. Jane says hi.
Hey, Jane.
And Debbie says hi and so nice to see you.
Hey, Debbie. Nice to have you along. I saw that you emailed me that you might drop in, and
I'm so glad.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Oh, Françoise, that's great. She's asking, what are all those ties behind you? When was the last time you wore one?
I'm telling you, they're not mine, although I might pick a few. Those are, why don't you point the light at them just temporarily there? Those are
my father's.
Kim's father's ties. And so some will get rehomed and I will pinch a few and
I'll pinch a few.
And several I think will find their way into one of Kim's artworks. So our house, plenty chaotic though it normally is with two artists and all their artistic interests and we could use that for art or maybe we should save that. We now have a whole bunch of Aunt Dorothy stuff and we have a bunch of Kim's dad stuff that we're sorting. So we are basically trying to, like, there are little pathways to our houses, like, okay, don't trip on that, step over that, around this and past that and through that. And like,
it will help a lot when we don't have any fresh inputs.
Yeah, no, exactly.
So that the rate at which we're clearing stuff can actually make progress. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Okay, we've got more people here.
All right.
Anne Lakoff is here.
Hey, Anne hasn't been here for a while, have you, Anne? So great to have you along.
Glad you're back.
Yeah, yay.
She says, so great to hear your laughter, see your smiles, and continue to be inspired by you both.
Oh, that is so sweet. Thank you. Thank you. Because
lovely.
That, we hope to inspire and give you guys community, but we absorb it from you guys too.
Oh, very much.
So appreciate, that you guys coming and sharing this with us. So thank you.
Nellie says, hi, finally here.
Yay, yeah. Don't worry. We're just getting started.
Yeah, that's right.
We're just answering. We're just saying hi to everyone. I haven't even touched glue or knife to paper yet. So you're totally good.
Judy's here saying so good to see you both.
Yay, yeah.
François says, I'm sure you'll find a good use for them, the ties. Mm-hmm. Yep. Kay has written in to say, when my friend's father died, she had some of his favorite clothes made into a beautiful quilt for each of the kids and grandkids. Wow. They're beautiful.
Yeah, that's
what a wonderful idea.
That's a beautiful idea.
Love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then she adds, just think what you can do with the ties, Kim. Exclamation marks.
Yep. Kim's mind is already working hard on that. Yeah, I know.
I've got a few things like that.
Yeah. So. Some sculptural installation type ideas for, because he was a frugal to a fault, and so he saved clothing that he should have long since thrown away.
He wore clothing that should never ever have been out.
Oh my goodness, going out for dinner with him was wonderful, but also like, when does this date from? And like, it's got a big hole in it, a big stain on it, Dad. Come on. It's like, he's a sweet guy, but yeah.
Inimitable.
Exactly.
Inimitable.
Oh, it's still good.
It's his favorite. So he wears it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I'm guilty as charged. I have some favorites that should have been thrown out long ago too. So
Jane adds, I too have a bag of ties I keep thinking I'll use in a collage or make a skirt one day. Hard to throw them out. Danica, our niece, made a skirt out of thrift store ties.
Yeah, it's perfect, isn't it? Because they taper. Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's just a lot of seams to sew, right?
Yeah. Skirt for me needs a lot of ties. Also a lot of 70s ties.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Well, there we are. We're caught up.
That's great.
So what is the theme today, Cal?
Good question. I had forgotten to mention that off the top. So the theme today, optional as always with our themes. If it sounds like something you'd like to play with, play with it, absolutely. And if then that doesn't speak to me, just do what you want to do, right? So it is the way we used to do it. And when I a few weeks before Kim's father passed, I realized we were going to be in for several weeks of difficult times. So I wrote a bunch of themes, and I've just been like picking the one that for each day. And when I looked at this morning, because I do a little bit of like, okay, what am I going to do today, and pulled some materials together. And I looked at it and I don't know what to do with this one. Not at first anyway. Nothing came to mind immediately. That's often the way, right? So what I have decided to do is I've printed off some there's so many things that so many ways you could go with the way we used to do it. It could be personal. It could be just looking back into history, and that's the way we as a society used to do things. And that's where I was first going. I was thinking, well, I used to be interested in cycle racing. So I thought maybe I'll go back to like the golden era and get some images from the turn of the 1900. So I started Googling that, and then I wasn't feeling that. So I decided that I would grab a few pictures of turntables, remember those, and a few album covers from my Ute. And and then I printed them out, and I don't even know what I'm going to do with them. I black and white. I printed them in black and white and in color. So I was just trying to find the color one. So I just printed them out. Remember before the internet, when album covers were huge, right? They were wonderful. They were your portal to what the music you liked the sound of looked like. Whereas, before music videos, that was it, right? That and maybe a poster or maybe an article in a newspaper or magazine once in a while, right?
Plus, the good ones had the lyrics.
Yeah. Oh, and they were
amazing.
And I used to pore over the, and I just imagine trying to explain that to someone who grew up in the time of YouTube, when you can look at a million images, videos of all your heroes, musical heroes, or any heroes, right? But back then, like still images, how important they were, right? So, yeah. So
that's a sad loss in terms of experience. Kay has said, I'm skipping a couple of comments. So I'll have to go back.
Well,
she said, and all the inserts, posters, lyrics, etc.
Yeah,
missed that.
Oh, I loved it, and I can't remember which musician it was, but it was a current musician, and I think it was a she, and she was saying, now that you can just like dial anything up on Spotify and listen to it, the connection of a fan to their music is not as strong. And she said as deep. Yeah. She said when you were young, when she was young, she had to go to the store and decide what she was going to buy and flip through them and handle them physically. And is this worth the $10 that I'm going to spend of my, very
really
limited
sweat it.
Yeah.
Because they were, if you were a teenager, they
really
absolutely.
Item. So, yeah, and I remember that same feeling, like the eager anticipation of a new album by a favorite band, or like when something was on sale. Oh, that's a good price. I wonder if it's any good,
Yeah, exactly.
I've heard the one song on it, but on the radio, right? Because that's it, right? You'd hear the hit single or
single.
But is it going to be any good or all that? So it's just a different. And I remember, Kay, that it was always such a disappointment as a visual person. Like I already had interest in visuals then as an artist. When you'd open an album and you'd pull it in and it'd just be a clear plastic sleeve instead of you'd have the visuals on the outside, and then right? Whereas some of the times the sleeve would have like the lyrics and have images and maybe if you were really lucky, you got like a booklet of some kind, any kind of little freebie insert. Like that was like, right. So
that's right.
Yeah. So
I should just catch up on a couple of comments. Val says, I found this theme hard, or else my brain is just collaged out. But maybe what Kal has talked about has given you some ideas, Val, or given you a new way into the theme. So I hope so. Let
Yeah.
us know. Francoise says she was given 2 National Geographic magazines from the 1920s that she'll be
Wow.
working
Yeah,
with.
yeah, that's
What
great.
a fabulous gift.
Yeah,
Wow.
and in fact, yeah, we have a stack of Life magazines that a collage artist, some of you guys may know, Diane Leslie.
Yeah, wonderful. Oh my God.
We bought them for like $1 each. So we have this stack of like, I don't know, 20 or 25 Life magazines from the 30s or late 20s, I think maybe. 30s. No, I think it's 30s. Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. And just it's, that was a time when Life magazine was, and that like
it was a publication of record.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. If something was of note, it was in Life magazine, right?
Yeah.
And just think about how limited the media options were then,
Life magazine was like
our
internet.
Very few magazines, very small amount of television, a lot of radio. But yeah, it's hard to remember those things. But yeah, anything that you can make it personal or you can make it societal, and I think that's anything of interest. Like I know you're a runner, maybe look at some trailblazers in terms of maybe women's running or Roger Bannister's 4-minute mile or something like that.
You can start off with something simple that doesn't seem like a really hot idea, like transportation historically versus now.
Yeah, exactly.
But once you dig into it, you'll find some opportunities to turn it into something more special, and how you treat it and so on. So that's one of the things.
I quickly grabbed, I knew I had a couple of vintage things in my go-to box. I mean, I have piles of stuff downstairs, but you guys have seen me use a couple of these Popular Mechanics do-it-yourself encyclopedia books, and they date from, it's got early color. It's probably from like the early 80s or maybe 70s. Yeah.
It's kind of a 70s look to the design.
And then I don't even know where I came across this, but
I think we were given that.
Yeah. Purity Cookbook. And that dates from 1932 was copyright, and this edition 1945. So it's and it's Purity Flower.
Yeah.
It's a Canadian. So there's an example of the. So I don't know whether that will find its way into my collage or not. And I have, beyond what I've said, I don't really have any idea. So I'm just going to do what I always do, and that is get hands-on, start playing with it, and see what comes.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So
So I'm going to now switch us to the overhead camera, since we can do that. And I just had an idea that instead of making you seasick,
these
I will
live streams just get more and more high tech and polished, don't
close
they?
that while we do
The visuals coming back.
Yep,
Just
don't
a
worry.
momentary thing.
Yep,
Cal's
just
just trying to spare you from the
seasick making
feeling.
trip to the.
Okay.
There we go.
There we go.
Get this pushed out of the view a little bit.
Wasn't it nice not to get seasick? Okay. Kay mentioned, same with videos. I miss getting the referrals from the store clerks. Yes. And just browsing, right? Like browsing through Netflix and Prime and Apple TV. You could spend all night just like trying to figure out what you want. You can't hold in your hand your short list. So you have to go find your short list again. It's really, I find it such a nightmare compared to videos.
In so many ways, I wouldn't want to go back.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't. I mean, I love most aspects, but for everything we gain, there's a loss, right?
Yeah.
And
definitely.
it's interesting to contemplate what those losses are and
to note that they exist.
No, yeah, to note exactly. Not to change per se, but just that it's a fact.
Now, Jane has said, I'm with Val. Can't get it together for this particular theme. Right now, looking through Colin's old Maclean's and Life magazine from the 50s to get inspired. Well, that sounds like an excellent
That sounds like
thing
a
to
great
do.
idea. Yeah. And if if you can't get the engine running on that, just flip through whatever you've got and pull out stuff that does speak to you and just make a collage with that, right?
Exactly. You might be surprised.
Yeah,
it might turn out to have some connection anyway.
I think that sometimes we have to make it first and then figure out what it's about later.
Yeah, that happens to me a lot.
So a prompt is only useful if it helps you get the engine running. If it stops you, then that's a sign that the prompt isn't going to help you.
Well, and I also think it means you've gotten stuck in your head about the prompt.
Right.
Whereas just kind of take it on board and then let your intuition guide you as you look through your materials. What resonates, don't worry about finding perfect matches. Annie says hi.
Hey,
hi, Annie.
I was going to wave, but I have to get used to the overhead camera idea here. So, yeah.
It's very nice having this overhead camera.
It is. It is. Absolutely. So I have no idea what I'm doing. So I'm just going to start cutting things out because that will get me.
His intuition is going to guide him at this point.
That is the hope, right?
Have faith, right?
I know. I
have faith.
I preach having faith, and I need to preach it because I need to hear it.
What do you think? Do you think this summer we should give each other haircuts?
It just might be a good idea.
It could become an annual event.
I actually think annual is about all I need.
Yeah.
Although I did wash my hair this morning and thought it is getting pretty unmanageable.
Right. Well, then we're getting close to cutting it. Oh, in our copious free time, right?
That's right.
That's it. Had time this weekend. Had literally zero energy.
We had time because we were exhausted.
Yeah, otherwise we would have been occupied. We would have been
busy.
Things,
yeah, exactly. If we weren't exhausted, so
that's right.
We would have been busy. But
yeah.
This was one of the. I think this, apart from Elton John.
Oh, Farewell to Arms? Is that
Farewell to Kings.
To Kings, yeah.
That was the first album I bought that wasn't, other than Elton John Greatest Hits, I think, that wasn't like a K-Tel album. And I remember I read about it. It's like, oh, they're a band from Toronto and they, blah, blah, blah. And I read the review and I thought, oh, that sounds interesting. So, and I forget, I was like 12 years old.
And that began your obsession.
I was definitely a Rush head when I was as a teenager. And it was kind of, because it had a heavy side as well, and I was still a young person more into pop, it was a little overwhelming.
Yeah.
Because there was some very heavy stuff in.
Yeah.
And it's like, so I liked some of it, and then I was like actually intimidated by some of it. It was like, whoa, that's like too intense,
Yeah.
But
Joy says hi.
Hey,
from
Joy.
Salt Spring.
Yay.
She says the really old stuff is the best. So you're into it then, Joy.
Yeah. She's got sounds like she's got the right vibe going for the prompt, so that's good.
Great. Some classics there. Oh, the sun's trying to come out.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yay for sun. Although it is pretty toasty here these days. How's the weather on Salt Spring, Joy? I hope it's not 33 degrees and humid like it is here.
Yeah. I have some cousins in Burnaby, and they go hiking, I think, every Sunday. And they're always posting these photos on Instagram of waterfalls and mountains and these incredible alpine conifers, and oh my God. But I was able to commiserate with them because they had to hike in pouring rain on Sunday apparently. So
well, they still went for it.
Yeah. And frankly, the shots were beautiful, right? Because the mist is incredible. Joy says she found lots of vintage stuff in drawers from her parents' time, the 1970s. Oh, the great. 70s is just
it is.
So much pops into my head right away. What were we? Oh, we were looking at one of those food canisters, like for a kitchen counter, and it was avocado green steel, with a harvest orange lid. It was just so 70s.
And
it was
had
ridiculous.
The very graphic
like a
flower pattern of several flowers in sort of like yellow, orange, white, and that avocado green.
Yeah.
That was so ubiquitous. And the canister itself was sort of pie-shaped when you look down. Not really pie, just like gently pie-shaped.
Wedged.
Sort of like that. Wedge shape. Yeah, exactly.
Kind of rectangle.
Which I've never seen a can like that.
I guess you can have a dramatic curved display on your countertop. I don't know.
Maybe.
Annie, I'm so glad you volunteered this, because I was going to ask anyone who wanted to share what your first LP was, or your first like defining one, like Kal buying A Farewell to Kings. So Annie says the first LP she bought was a Glen Campbell one for $2.99 from the corner store.
Right.
I didn't know who he was, but really wanted an LP like my sister's. I love it. And the price was right.
Yeah. My parents had a few Glen Campbell albums.
Did they?
Yeah.
Wow.
Lineman for the County, I think.
Well, he was probably a good songwriter.
He was.
Yeah.
I mean, it was middle of the road, but it was also he was good at it, right?
Yeah.
So,
Joy says, in response to your question, it's so cold, 8 at night.
Ooh.
And now finally sun to warm up. We might hit 14. Need 2 fleeces. Crazy. Global warming.
Yeah.
I mean, you're supposed to have basically the most perfect climate in Canada, aren't you? I know I met at an artist residency in 2009. Yeah, 2009. A woman who had moved to Salt Spring to retire, and she'd moved there because of that. She'd researched the climate and chosen it. So, and she was artistic too, and obviously the culture there is good for that. But anyway, I think she ended up moving back to Ontario because she developed some kind of health issue. But I think she also said the climate was changing.
Right.
Already. So.
Well, we had a little bit of that same single-digit nighttime temperatures. Was that last week or the week before? We had like 8 degrees, 9 degrees.
Yeah, I think that was last week.
Yeah,
even.
It was. Yeah.
Yeah. Jane says, I think my first album was Johnny Mathis. Oh my. Yes. Does anyone here know him? I certainly remember him. This will show my age. Well, you know what? You're in good company, Jane. I certainly remember Johnny Mathis. Yeah. I'm speaking of old music. Some of you may recall that I'm taking singing lessons, which I paused when my dad was dying, but I started up again. And the latest song that I'm trying to work on is Crying by Roy Orbison. Because unusually for a woman, I can go very low, as you might guess that from listening to my speaking voice. But yeah, I can go very low for a woman. And but I can also, I'm not saying with great style points, go high. And he was famous for going high. So it's an interesting song to work on because it uses basically my full range. Kay adds her first album was Chicago Transit Authority. Still love it, and it had great inserts. I seem to recall Chicago really produced great LPs in terms of the stuff you got.
Yes, I have. I had a Chicago album too.
Yeah.
I just can't remember.
I can't remember what the one I had was called. It had that song about New York, something in New York, and I think it was a chocolate cover, like it was.
Oh yeah,
their
yeah,
logo
with like a gold
in chocolate.
Oh, okay,
just
right.
Absolutely delicious. It was such a good cover design that way. They did some good music. Judy says the first album I remember is Twist and Shout. Oh wow!
Wow, there's a great
fabulous.
Yeah.
It was $2.99 or $3.99 from Sam the Record Man. Now there's a sad loss.
As soon as I hear that, I see that huge disc with the pulsating neon. That was the
iconic on Yonge Street in
absolutely.
Toronto. And sadly now, the store is gone. I had a boyfriend who worked in the warehouse for Sam the Record Man for years, and he had the most astounding record collection. He was a real aficionado, and he worked there in part because of the discounts he got. So Kay says the early ones were excellent. Yes, I wouldn't know the later ones, I guess. Yeah. She says Saturday in the Park, Chicago 5. That's the one. That's what I got. Joy writes country songs, Glenn Campbell, Patsy Cline, real hurtin' songs go way back. Yeah. Patsy Cline always makes me think of Katie Lang and her getting her start. As
Katie,
one of the great,
and the Reclines, Katie Lang and the Reclines,
that's
right?
That's right. And I mean, one of the great singers of our time.
Yeah, you've been doing a little listening to her of late.
Yeah, she does a fabulous cover of Crying. She did a duet with Roy Orbison, which was amazing, but I love her interpretation of Crying. She slows it down and pulls it out, and that brings out the feeling so well. Whereas Roy Orbison sings it quite quickly. Joy adds Rock Around the Clock.
Oh.
Bill Haley and the Comets.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah. That was
a classic.
That 50s rockabilly and was definitely my entree into popular music.
Yeah.
Elvis.
Yeah.
Especially.
Judy says her boyfriend's mother got them tickets to see the Beatles live at Maple Leaf Gardens in 1966, several years after I bought the album.
Wow. That must have been pandemonium. Like everywhere was pandemonium, right?
Yeah. So. I mean, they had girls fainting and weeing themselves.
Yeah.
But what history? I mean, I
Wow.
hope you heard a bit of music through all the shrieking, but oh no, she says we couldn't hear anything because of the screaming.
Yeah.
That's the problem, right? That's why they gave up live performance, because they couldn't actually play to any effect. Which is really sad, because they really became a great band because of all the live performances they did in Germany. Very intensive schedule of live performances as a young band. Peggy Budd says, "Hey, I was at that Beatles concert too."
Wow.
That's so cool.
That is very cool.
love that. I love that. If anyone else here was at that concert, please let us know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Judy says it was chaotic and adds small world, LOL. It sure is. Well done, you two. And that boyfriend's mother, what an awesome mother she was to do that.
Yeah, wow.
Judy suggests we could have a reunion. Yeah. Wouldn't that be fun?
And that was, again, we were talking about Life magazine. That was a time when, I mean, I guess it's still true to some extent, but when there was one artist who, one or two or a very few that were just like everyone knew and everyone was,
Well, I think that was actually rarer then than it is now. Like things go global more easily now. It was a big deal, the British invasion then, right? That British music penetrated America. That was quite a remarkable thing, and it did so because of the British fascination with British musicians, fascination with blues.
Yeah.
And rockabilly and so on. So it all connected up. Peggy thinks a reunion would be fun too. Great idea. I bet you could spread word on Facebook or something and get a lot of people who were at that concert. Yeah, we were a bit young to attend that concert, eh, Cal?
Yep.
So, did you ever attend a Rush concert live?
A couple, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. I mean, I wish that I had gone back later in my life, but
well, once Neil, the drummer, passed away, that stopped being possible. Yeah.
But
although, if the surviving members do something interesting, maybe we should go to that as a way of sort of honoring that. Music and musicians are just so important in our as we define ourselves.
I think that's it.
Up,
as we define ourselves, you don't listen to your parents' music. You
define. Even if you return to it later,
yeah, exactly. Well, I definitely did.
Space.
Like I found later, I found their music interesting, but at the time, it was. I wouldn't say I rebelled against it in the same way because I
needed different music.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
You're differentiating yourself.
Yeah.
It's a natural stage of development. I wish we had more Frank Sinatra like they had. Like the coffee song. Not my way, but he did a lot of really good music.
I am just looking at this shot reminds me of the smoked glass or smoked plastic, but that lids that you would lift to reveal to put a record on or whatever. The dust covers. I'm just looking at the different facets of it and thinking, oh, what would happen if I like put a different snippet of an album in each facet?
Nice.
So but I want to just do a quick little drawing to sort of help myself understand that a little bit, to see whether it's an idea I like or not. Just like, what are those facets? Would you include that one? Maybe. And I'm just wondering if I am going to trace that onto some tracing paper or just use it to cut through. I think I should trace it. Okay, I'll be right back.
You can just put some graphite on the back and draw over it.
Yeah, although that way I can't crop it the way I want it.
Okay. Well, while Cal's gone, I will read out Annie's comment. I couldn't afford to go to concerts when I was younger, but I tried to make up for it now. The last live concert I went to was Pink. Awesome. Can't wait for live shows again.
Oh.
Pink, she must put on a hell of a show.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
There is a girl who can sing like Joplin if she...
It's so weird to me that she's pop instead of rock, but it's also a sign of the times, because rock is in decline.
It's true.
But she would be a kick butt rock singer, without a doubt.
Funny,
but I know what you mean, Annie. Concerts were and are expensive, and I tell you, my babysitting money did not stretch to a whole lot of concerts, so I went to very few. One of the ones I went to was Jethro Tull while I was still in high school. I believe that was. I had a couple of their albums, which my mother then decided she really liked and played until she wrecked them.
Your mother was not renowned for having mechanical sympathy. Let's put it that way.
But hey, it's my mother was a young mom, so
yeah. And that's completely.
And that's part of, I think, why we shared a significant overlap of musical tastes for at least for a while. Judy writes, speaking of bands with someone filling in for a member who has passed away, what did people think of the Junos last night with Feist playing with the hip? Ah, yes.
That would have been amazing.
We didn't see the Junos, so please pipe in if you did.
That would be.
We both like Feist, and we love the hip, obviously. So
yes,
that would be. I'll have to look that up on YouTube.
That's great. Yeah, we don't really track much on stuff like that, so I'm glad someone saw it.
Yeah, I noticed that it was happening, but honestly, there's just so much going on in our lives right now that keeping track of things is limited to what's necessary.
What's most urgent.
Annie says her high school won a concert by Max Webster through a radio station in Montreal. That's amazing, Annie. Wow. So did you? Presumably, you got to go to that. Oh, what's that?
That's a Max Webster.
Oh, there we are.
Yeah.
And a Max Webster album, right? Sorry, I'm not looking at the. I'm looking at you instead of at the overhead cam feed. That's amazing. Kay says she thought Feist did an awesome job, and that it was a great Juno celebration last night. Oh, good.
Yeah, that is good. We need any good any and all good celebrations,
and
these
especially
days.
With that very sad loss. I mean,
yeah.
Judy writes, it did seem strange. I really like both, but sad without Gord Downie. Definitely. I mean, yeah, it's just
how can it not
what
be?
A tragic loss. And he said they came to our high school to perform. Yeah, so you got to see them live.
That's great.
Awesome.
Wow. Yeah, I was too young for Max Webster, except on the radio, but I got into Kim Mitchell's career afterwards, and then discovered Max Webster more after the fact. But so I definitely, growing up, I had several Max Webster albums because they were another Canadian Toronto band. Or maybe they weren't Toronto, but I think they were, but I'm not positive. Someone can correct me on that if I'm wrong.
Kim, what's his name?
Kim Mitchell.
Kim Mitchell?
Yeah.
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 All similar vein, I see.
Similar vein?
Yeah.
To?
Musically.
To Max Webster? So Max Webster was actually not an actual person?
No. I mean to the band's music.
Yeah. Yes, similar vein.
Yeah. I'm not.
No, I'm not trying to make any big deal. I'm just trying to understand what you're.
Kim Mitchell's music, similar vein to Max Webster's music.
Yes.
That's all.
Yes. Yeah.
Max Webster being the band.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Great. Glad we understand each other. All right. Where are we here? What do you need, my dear?
I have layered over my ruler somewhere.
Well, there are all those rulers hanging up on the bookcase behind you.
Right. I will grab one of those if I can't lay my hands on this one.
Seriously, it will take you 5 seconds to get the one of the many that's up there. Right?
That is true.
The other one will turn up. But
yeah, of course
in
it
the
will.
meantime,
I'll have something.
Yeah, and there are more there, so don't hold back.
Not really renowned for holding back.
You're sure about that, are you?
No, not sure about that. I'm not sure about much anymore. I'm sure of uncertainty.
Right.
How's that?
That's the only certainty. Scratching little marks for yourself on there?
Yeah, it's so dark. It's hard to see where the edges are. I'm really struggling. The edges that I want to cut along, so I am scratching little marks to reveal the white paper to see where I actually want to cut. Because otherwise,
that's a good idea.
Yep. Those are too faint even for me. These sorry eyes of mine.
There'll be lots of pieces then. Judy adds that there was considerable attention to the tragic situation at the residential school in Kamloops. Rightly so. Yes.
Right, yes.
I'm glad to hear it, Judy. Yeah. I'm glad you're putting the pieces back sort of where they fit, because
that's the only way I'm going to remember where they
exactly.
where they
I was
came
thinking
from.
that because it's so abstract, it would be hard to figure it out.
Yeah,
otherwise.
Exactly. Oh, Mrs. Cardinal was out our window, which is lovely.
That's nice.
Yeah.
We are blessed with cardinals in our backyard ever since we moved here. And the old patriarch and matriarch who's responsible for our neighborhood being full of cardinals. He used to come to our feeder regularly. Scruffy looking old guy, but boy, he really produced. Joy says she's just come across an ad for streamlining your silhouette with a Wonder Bra girdle. That's classic. I remember my mom having her girdles hanging up in her closet and getting into them. Well, I mean, I guess people get into Spanx now instead of these highly tailored girdles that had all those clips. There were the girdles with the garters attached to them, I remember. And they'd have these like brocade patches on the abdomen or something, like a satiny but raised pattern fabric. Annie says our birds are having a feast on gypsy moth caterpillars. Right.
Oh, yeah.
I hear there are a lot of them this year. Every morning she picks them off her little tree. Well, I'm glad the birds are having a feast on them. That's helpful, isn't it? The city isn't spraying this year, yeah. I remember my dad had some kind of tent caterpillar or something infestation in a tree in his front yard. This is years and years ago. And of course, my dad famously wouldn't do anything about anything, really. I think he mowed his lawn once a year.
Whether it needed it or not.
Yeah, exactly. It's like our annual haircut idea. So what happened was, the neighbors, in their own defense, the next door neighbor came over and helped Dad get rid of them. Very, dangerously with a big stick that had been dipped in gasoline or something and was flaming. Basically with a flaming torch.
It sounds very sort of witch hunty, doesn't it?
It does, but it did get rid of the tent caterpillars.
Well, and if you're fortunate, you don't burn down the tree at the same time.
Well, that's always the.
I mean, I guess if it's alive, it is.
It'll resist for a little while. Yeah. The question is, will the tent caterpillars be gone by the time before the tree starts burning?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, it all worked out, so that's pretty great. So not a method I necessarily recommend, right?
No.
Even though it was effective, it sounds pretty risky to me. Oh yes, I think it was he had a rag soaked in gasoline that he wrapped around the stick, and that was how the torch thing worked. Yeah.
That's how the torch thing worked.
Unbelievable.
That's one of those sentences that taken out of context. That's
yeah. I think I'd be more inclined to use a propane torch, but more precise, and you can turn it off. There's a nice thing about being able to turn it off. Slade. I remember the name Slade. I don't remember the music.
It was considered glam rock.
Ah, like Kiss.
Yeah, I guess. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think it was as over the top in that respect, but
well, Kiss was pretty.
Kiss was
defining that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I haven't seen Cherie here today. She was having an infestation in her boxwood, I remember, of something or other. I was going to ask her how that was going.
Well, she might catch us on the replay.
Yeah. All right. So you've got one facet of your turntable dust cover cut.
Yep, exactly.
All right.
Not slavishly, but I'm going to. I thought it might be useful to help describe the form to some extent, to try and pick approximately something that reflects the values. So something sort of mid-rangey for these, darker for those, while still having little clippets of things that
the visuals
that convey what some aspect of the music.
The Cult looks like a good mid value one.
That one? Yeah, definitely. Lots of darks. For some reason, I am not very vocal, and I apologize. I know that's not very helpful for the.
Well, you have just explained what I was
thinking.
Going about.
Yeah.
There.
I have the feeling that what I'm doing here is going to be the overly fussy first thing that I do, and then I'll do something faster later with some of the bits.
If you have time.
Well, yeah. that is always the that goes without saying.
Why don't you do the one that's opposite it?
Yeah, that is the one I'm going to do next. And it's got to have Chrissy Hines' eyes in it.
Okay. That's why you were fiddling with it.
Yeah. Get the crop right.
There you go.
Let's do MIDI. Mid-MIDI. It's going to have a hole in it. So that's
Well, you've got the one there. Just
one?
turn it sideways instead of worrying about its orientation. And you've got, oops. Uh-oh. I just find it interesting that you're making them all upright. Don't you think that's interesting?
I do.
Like you're not and I'm just doing this as a way of like trying to stimulate
Yep.
the non-graphic designer paste up juices and say, what if you slashed diagonally through an album cover?
That's hard to
Did things upside down.
Yeah, I did consider upside down.
Or sideways. Right? But diagonal would be maybe most interesting.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'll give it a try.
There you have it, everybody.
Start again. I don't have enough of the dark on that one. Upside down. That could.
And he writes, so influential, Kim. Ha ha. Hey, I do what I can.
Yep, she does.
I'm Cal's random button.
Yeah, well, and he needs it because he gets too caught up in too many constrictions. So.
Yeah. Well, it's just too polite to do it all right side up, right? Like it's just it's visual material. You need need to have a bit of.
Yeah, and I guess my original thinking had been that these side pieces would have, and then these would be right side up, and then maybe this would be upside down. But I'm gonna do this one upside down if I can find the right.
I bet if you just cut one of those things the right height and the full length that you can, then you can put it in place and put something next to it and find a strip that you can cut to join it with.
Right.
Instead of trying to be in your head the whole time.
She's on one of those pushing days.
Forgive me. Everyone here, just so you understand, Kal and I have been together for 31 years, but we've worked together for longer than that. And I recognize when he's putting himself into a little box. And so I'm just trying to help him
open the
in
door
a loving
to the box.
way, help him find his way out of the box, right? Because it happens to all of us. I'm sure all of you have experienced some version of it at some point. And so we do that for each other, which is
and I definitely put myself in boxes too much. So
Yeah, and I think particularly because we've been living through some demanding times, you're going to be more inclined to do that because it's your comfort zone. And he says, collaborations, always nice surprises. Haha. Yes. Yeah. When we first became friends working together, we did a lot of collaborating as designers, both because we had assignments that required us to, but more because we found each other really great collaboration partners. He brought what I needed, I brought what he needed, and
in fact, not much has changed in terms of what we brought, because I brought structure and systems, and you brought that sort of randomizing artist
weird thing
exactly. but I can make something sterilely.
You can also make it exquisite, and
and you can make things. You can reach for solutions.
Bolder.
You'd reach for solutions that I would never consider possible.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the phrase, "What if we break the system, Cal?" That comes to mind, and the pale look on your face.
In graphic design, I thought when I was learning it, I thought I had found something that a sort of way in which one could have a certain degree of certainty and logic that didn't frustrate the heck out of one.
Yeah.
And absolutes are appealing, but in theory, but they don't work in practice.
Yeah.
And that's basically was my conundrum.
Yep. So I was part of your conundrum.
Conundrum Kim.
Yep. Jane writes, I could throw a monkey wrench into your collage, Cal, and take a photo of some cylinder record covers I have. My dad used to collect and refurbish old Edison cylinder phonographs. Wow, Jane, that's amazing. Oh my God. Wow. That's just incredible. For some reason, that's reminding me, I forget who, I wish I could remember who gave me a roll of player piano paper.
Wow. Yeah.
Really heavy, punched so that with bumps. So the player piano would play the right notes, and it was just wonderful. But for some reason, that made me think of it.
Well, it's a similar old technology.
An old technology.
Yeah,
an old musical technology.
Well, and that's what LPs are, just not.
Just not as old.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, there are some young people who are heavy-duty vinyl.
Yes.
So some of the contemporary artists are releasing things on vinyl first, or as premium products, or whatever. Annie writes, beautiful. Anne says, oh, you guys are so complimentary. As in complementary colors.
Yes.
Yeah. He's orange and I'm blue. I'm red and he's green. In fact, he's wearing green today. Yellow green. Well, that just got more exciting already. Jane writes, They would be cylinder shaped. Let me know if you want me to send you a photo. I think we'd love to see a photo of these because I've never seen, I've seen phonographs with a cylinder in place playing, but I've never seen the cylindrical covers.
No, that's
I
don't
incredible.
think I've even seen a cylinder being played.
Well, in film,
Mm.
possibly also at some, like when I was growing up at one of these antique villages, or where they did things like that. So yes, please, and thank you, Jane. She writes, as punishment when growing up, he used to play the records. They were awful. If you were a teenager or a preteen at the time, it was just to torment you, I'm sure. But what a lovely thing that he would restore them, because without someone doing things like that, we wouldn't be able to experience old technologies.
Did he donate any of it to like a museum, or?
Yeah, that would be interesting to know.
Like
there must be some kind of, like, there's a museum of motion pictures, I know, so there must be a museum for music. Val asked Jane if she could post the photo because she would like to see it too. Yeah, that would be great, actually, in the group.
If you could post it in our Facebook group, that'd be amazing.
Our Virtual Collage Jam Facebook group. Yeah. Thank you I see 3 people have hit the like button on the video. Much appreciated. And if any of you are enjoying this at all, finding any value in it, if you wouldn't mind hitting like on the video, that would be very kind of you and would help Kal out, that's for sure. Oh, getting to the top one now, eh? Actually, there are 2 top ones, it looks like. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, that's fun. What's this one for?
Well, I have 2
little triangles. Yep. I see. Yep.
And I was thinking something red up there would be useful.
Yeah, would.
So I was thinking just from here.
Yeah.
From those guitar strings.
Plus it has those nice lines. I'm really enjoying the actual top part of the turntable being cut out here.
Yeah.
And like the possibilities for what you could show through it. That's quite a fun relationship right there. It's just a little triangle, dear.
What do you mean by that?
Just that you can relax a little bit. It's just a little tiny triangle.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yes, get a bit of yellow, a bit of blue in it, but don't
now I understand.
Don't sweat it quite so much.
How can you say don't sweat it too much? It's a decision. It's a visual decision.
Yeah.
And as such, needs to be considered.
Considered, yes, I agree.
It's just that my considering looks like you're sweating.
Yeah.
Right? And despite that, the way that sounds, I am very appreciative of, because your suggestions have loosened me up a little bit.
Yeah.
A tiny bit.
Well, I mean, we weren't going to
reinvent the cow. No, exactly. I mean, come on. We have our limits, right?
Yeah. Oh, I like that. That touch of blue there is nice, eh?
I'm glad you think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
now what have we got here? Nellie says, Johnny Mathis was my elder sister's favorite. Mine was Cliff Richard. Yeah. Jane says, I do have a lamp made from one of the old phonographs, and the records still work. Oh, Jane, that's amazing. Wow. What fun. And she says, okay, we'll post on our page. Dad used to sell these to Rita Ford, an antique music box store in Manhattan. Right.
Wow.
Well, that's great. So there was a market for them that he was filling. What an extraordinary lamp to have. Amazing. It is fun what you can make lamps out of, though.
Got a little problem there.
Well, it's an opportunity, right?
I knew you were going to say that.
Did you?
I did, actually. I thought, if I say this is a problem, it had already started to come out, so I'm screwed now.
You finished the sentence anyway, right?
I'm screwed now.
Oh dear, it's so funny, eh? When you've been together a long time, there are things like that.
This is probably too much, but I thought I'd take a look at it anyway.
Too much can be fun, though.
Yeah, that's why you got to try it, right?
Yeah.
And maybe too much needs a foil of something that isn't too much as a counterpoint.
Well, maybe its setting can be.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah. Like if this were behind it, for instance, behind those very busy lid pieces.
Why don't you get the white pad, put it there, put the blue on, and start laying the stereo on?
Right.
Just to get it cleaner, because you've got a grid and all of that.
Yeah. What I think I might do is compartmentalize my decisions. And what do I mean by that? I mean, I'm going to make an arbitrary decision that I will have a band of something behind these that is clean. So I'm going to figure out what color I want to put these on, and I'll glue it on it, and then either trim the edge, and okay, that's my top, and then I'll fiddle with what goes on the bottom.
That's a great idea.
I think this a blue like that's not wide enough. But
right, but that color is good.
Might be a good blue, and I will try. That's a slightly different blue, but that's still worth trying. I might try yellow. something relatively lighter in value since those are relatively dark.
Dark, yeah.
So.
That's quite a color.
That is quite a color, and it has a bit of retro feeling to it.
That color looks fabulous with those two blues. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Matisse's jazz collages. I'm thinking Ivan Chermayeff. We have a kid's book about, is it about the Star of Bethlehem or something? There's a star involved. Star and Moon, I think, actually. So maybe not a Christmas story. Anyway, here's his little primaries. That's nice. Nice bold color statement. Okay, everybody, brace yourselves. Glue might happen.
What? Oh, I'm going to try a few different color schemes.
Do you actually need to? No, I mean, you've got those colors in front of you.
Yeah. All right. No, I'll just go with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Have a little.
Have a little faith.
Yeah, a little confidence. You've earned it.
You are a brat, and I love you.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everybody, if I'm being a brat today. Judy asks, she says, I may have missed it, but how is the poetry book going, Cal?
The poetry book has not been going very much at all, just in the last couple of weeks. Well, I did a tiny bit a couple of weeks ago, or a week ago.
This past week, we actually physically moved my godmother from the hospital to long-term care, and she's out of town. So we had to go out of town to do that and get more of her, sort through more of her stuff. And then we went back out of town to arrange to have some of her furniture moved and to get some of her other furniture. There's a firm that's posting some of her furniture on an auction site for us, and then sort through more stuff and bring more stuff home.
Yeah.
So it has been intense. So that's why Cal has had very minimal time to spend on the book.
So what I'm going to say, thank you for the clarification, Kim, is I haven't got nothing done, but it's been slow. But the last bits that I've done, I've been very pleased with. So it is going, it is going well. It's just stalled at the moment, and so I'm not feeling great about the fact that it's stalled, even though for reasons beyond my control.
For the best reasons.
Yeah, exactly. So, but that and one other project have been occupying what little time I've had to spend on creative projects. And I'm very happy to report that my design is in fabrication for a neon installation at the Gladstone Hotel to be
a permanent
one. Yes, exactly.
They've commissioned him to create an artwork.
So it has been approved. It's now with the fabricator, and it's not actually neon. It's LED which is more sensible. New neon is made out of. Yeah. But so that's underway now, and
very exciting.
I'm extremely excited about that. So So while some things are going a little more slowly than I would hope, there are some exciting things going on as well, despite other challenges.
Yeah.
I just don't seem to have words today. I can't form sentences properly.
Judy writes, sounds really busy. Annie writes, congrats.
Oh, thank you. Yes. No, it is exciting.
Can hardly wait till, I don't know, we can see it in person. Wouldn't that be amazing? when that happens again. Val writes, congratulations. Can't wait to be able to get out to see it. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. You and me both.
Yeah.
It's going to be in a hallway in their basement. So if you're at the Melody Bar and you go down to the washrooms,
it'll be right next to
there's a skinny hall with washrooms. I think they're 3 on one side and 2 on the other, and then there are mirrors on the walls. And at the end of this short corridor is going to be my neon installation, and the mirrors will reflect some of it.
So it should be quite dazzling.
Yeah,
really.
Exactly. Yeah. Because it's a small space, but it's a fair bit of a fair number of neon tubes. So it should have a very, it should be exciting. And
I had just had an idea, Cal. Let me run it by you and see what you think. When we can do that kind of thing again.
Yep.
How about we arrange with the Gladstone to webcast our virtual collage jam from there?
Wow.
I bet Lee would love it.
I bet she would too. And wouldn't it be great to be able to do it's webcast from there, but
some people could
come
live.
and work live. Ooh.
What do you guys think of that idea?
Anyone up for that?
When things open up, would you like to meet up at the Gladstone if we can arrange it and do some collage live? And of course, those of you for whom that's not possible, it would still
online.
Be webcast.
Yeah. Oh, I love that idea.
I think that would be amazing. We could do a special edition and make it maybe a little bit longer.
Yeah, it could be like the. I can't think of a better thing to celebrate though than things opening back up.
Yeah,
maybe
than doing something like that.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Oh, I so think she would be up for it.
One of the things that's really lovely about Lee is that she is up for things.
Exactly.
So.
Judy writes, it would be wonderful. Annie says, will you post it on your website?
Oh, of course.
If we do something that special, it'll be in his newsletter. It'll be in the Collage Jam group on Facebook. It'll be on his website, social media, everywhere. Yeah. So. Annie writes, yes. Kay says, that's awesome. Val says, I'm in. Anne says, such a great idea. Francoise says, where do I like? Awesome. Peggy says, congratulations, Cal. And yes, smile.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's a brilliant idea, Miss Kim.
And Jane writes, I love the Gladstone. So yes, she says, does Margie Zeidler still own it? No, actually. We were there when it was changing over.
Yeah.
And then COVID happened, and then... but they're still, they've commissioned artists to do permanent installations in all the rooms. And so they're committed to continuing on as an art boutique hotel. So
yeah, fortunately, I know that they were, prior to the sale, they were doing an amazing job, but they were a bit strapped for capital to make it what they wanted to. And the new owner, of course, has the capital, but were they going to have the vision? And it sounds like they've retained.
They rehired.
They've retained Lee as curator, which is a really good sign.
Yeah.
And they are committing to a bunch of art installations and so on.
And events.
So I think things are looking promising.
I'm sure it will evolve, but that's fine, right?
Exactly.
That's what things do. But yeah, I mean, Gladstone has so many prominent, important signature events that, have added so much to the life of the city that, they've bought that along with buying the physical hotel. So Judy says, sounds amazing. Joy says, sorry, I won't be there, but it sounds so great. And Joy, we'll make sure that we give you a little view of the space we're in, whatever that is, because we've got that little camera we can slowly move around to give you a view. Francois says, I'm into, and Nellie says, great. Awesome. Well, that sounds great.
I kind of like this. I mean, I'm a minimalist. But there's something nice about the sort of cleanliness of that.
Oh, I love it. I love it. the turntable is the blank waiting for the content that is
Yeah,
all up there, right?
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
So I like it too. See?
So I think this might be all it needs.
Yep.
So
get the glue out.
I'm gonna get gluing.
And it's 3:30, so what good timing is that? So
That is
we'll
good
let
timing.
you get that glued down, and
Yep.
so we'll keep going while he glues that down.
Let's tidy up.
Oh, I'm so excited! I think that's a really good idea. That
No, that is
special,
awesome.
Special edition. Like we had World Collage Day just from here, but
which was great.
You know,
but yeah,
that was really cool. I hope those of you who were able to come enjoyed it.
I know that at least a few of you were here, right?
Yeah.
I keep looking over at the camera and realizing, oh no, it's up there.
Yeah.
So I know a few of you guys were there. So yeah, that was actually a lot of fun. I hope you guys had fun too.
Yeah.
It was fast and frenetic.
Yeah, I wasn't able to be at that one. I was really sad too because I had been looking forward to it. Such a special thing. Annie says, looks great, Cal. And Françoise says, thanks, Kal and Kim. Thank you, Françoise.
Thank you, Françoise.
So glad you could join us.
Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you on the Facebook group. And
yep. And please feel free to come on Monday for
your next event, right?
Virtual studio party.
Exactly.
Bring your collage stuff with you if that's what you want to do. Val says it would also be nice to meet the people from the online group, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
that's a lovely thing. So we'll have to make sure we do like name stickers or name badges or something.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know one thing we had talked about was having like a meal out at like Daiichi or something for the group, but I definitely think a collaging session is.
I think that's the perfect thing.
Yeah.
And of course,
we can do that.
You can order drinks and snacks, and right. We won't be able to cater. It's not. We're not a high budget event. You know, we charge so much for these events, right? but they have an excellent supply of food and drink there. So Jane says, love the collage, Cal. Gotta hop. We'll send photo later or tomorrow.
Great. Thanks guys. Jane.
See you next week.
Totally understand. We'll catch you around the next time.
Have a great week, Jane.
Yep.
That was an inspired idea, Cal, making the bottom minimalist like that.
Well, it was the first thing that I tried, and I just realized it didn't need anything anymore.
See, and you see that confidence?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that
you found your way to it.
Well, that comes from some of the prompts that I got from my assistant over there. No, and I'm, it feels uncomfortable in the moment, and I'm sure some people were like, Kim, but I welcome it. Not right at the moment, but I've learned to quickly go, wait a minute, it's actually exactly what you need. So listen up.
Yeah.
So.
Annie says, collage at Daiichi.
Yeah.
Hey, that could happen. Totally.
That is going to happen too.
See, yeah, right. That sounds like a great idea. Judy writes, do you think this will happen before the fall? Well, they are talking about a fourth wave right now. So we're just going to speak about it in the abstract for now and have to play it by ear in terms of timing. It would be nice, for example, to have received both vaccines before we do that.
Yeah.
I would be disinclined to do anything before, and we're not due for our second vaccine till August.
Although they are talking about stepping them up, so
yeah, but
it hasn't.
But they've done that without actually demonstrating that there's a plan for implementing that. This is the the story of this pandemic in Ontario, right? Like lots of things being announced and said at press conferences with no evidence of planning. So there we go.
I can't figure it. There we go.
There, yeah. That's a beauty. And look at that. You finished a collage.
Yeah, that's
today.
so rare.
And look, it's only 3:35 and you finished a collage.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that deserves a little round of applause, Cal, because
it wouldn't have happened without the prompts.
But seriously, I think that's beautiful.
It's just getting coming up a little bit.
Judy says, yes, I was able to book online today for my second. Excellent. I'm so glad to hear that. I hope all of us will be able to do that soon. And she adds, beautiful.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Val says, looks great. Yeah, that's a dandy one, Cal. So Cal's actually going to be able to photograph this and post this to the Facebook group as a completed on the same day during the session.
So many times I don't finish, and then I think, okay, I'll finish after dinner or whatever, and it never happens. And
you'll eventually finish them.
Yeah.
But
No, I do have a large pile of promising beginnings. So
yeah.
All right.
Judy adds, it's a keeper. Yes, do move your camera. And I wouldn't worry about the seasick aspect. Just move it slowly. It's okay if it wobbles around as long as it's not too fast. I agree, Judy. I think it's a keeper too. It's got such great hallmarks of Cal's work too, both the precision and the minimalism. Like that combination is just kind of a sweet spot in his practice.
I am rarely this pleased with a collage that I did, and so it's nice. And I certainly wouldn't, given how I was feeling at the outset, I wouldn't have anticipated that. But it goes to show you that you never can tell. So
I think it shows that you don't need to feel inspired for good work to happen.
That's actually a really important lesson. I think it's one we keep learning, but we know intellectually, but we need to keep learning. And we also try and tell our students that just start and don't worry about like the muses aren't speaking to you, or you don't have the right materials, or you're not feeling the prompt, or
just
whatever.
Begin
and just begin and sort of see. And if you've got a Kim on your shoulder who can either real or imaginary, who can speak to some of your predilections. I know a bunch of my students say, I hear your voice in my head when I'm working. I sometimes hear Kim's voice and it's not even in my head. Giving me some useful pointers. So anyway, thank you so much, guys. And keep on collaging, and we will.
Congrats to everyone getting a second shot.
That's so exciting to hear about people getting second shots. So yes, yay. So we will be back in 2 weeks, which is the 21st of June, for the final one of the spring term, and we'll have to figure out what we're doing summer wise.
Yeah, so we'll know by that date what we're doing in terms of our future dates.
Yep.
But I expect we'll be extending it because we're extending our teaching later.
Yeah, so
than we originally
we just have
planned.
to sift it out and figure out. We need to figure out some sort of a summer break, and when we're teaching in the summer. Everything is a little bit behind because of our busy schedule, but
because
we do know
a lot of life is happening. We're looking after other people a lot right now. So
but one thing's for sure, we'll be virtual collage jamming in 2 weeks on the 21st, and
we'll be virtual studio partying
next week on the 14th
today
at 2 p.m. on Kim's channel. Hope to see you then. Thank you so much, everyone.
Everybody.
Post your collages from today, whether or not they use the theme, and I'll see you on the Facebook group. All right. Take care, guys. Kim's just typing something, so I don't want to end the stream until she's finished. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Of course, Val, you got a collage done.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Take care. Thank you so much.
Have a great week.
Yeah.